been a statistic that's been going around social media, and it's 45% of men aged 18 to 25 have never asked a woman out, which is quite a strange and horrifying statistic that nearly half of men aged 18 to 25, the prime young years, of a man's life, especially with the time where they're supposed to be interacting with the opposite sex and, going through trials, tribulations, connecting with them, and experiencing femininity in their lives besides from their mother or from their family or whatever it might be. And this is very weird and scary because this is not normal, one for sure, because when you are age 18, 25, male or female, you are going to want relationships with the opposite sex. You're going to want some sort of intimacy, right? And the fact that it's not happening, I've made plenty of content talking about how men and women aren't in relationships anymore. No one's getting married anymore. Everyone just seems to be single, and there seems to be this hatred that each party has for each other, the men and the women, right? Obviously fueled through social engineering that makes each sex act a certain way and react to certain things and want certain things because the powers that be in this world have socially engineered us a particular way. And when it comes to women, right, they've socially engineered women to have crazy high, unrealistic standards. And most men simply can't keep up with it. And most men have been socially engineered to be shy, feminine, not assertive, masculine, afraid of women, introverted, all these things, right, for the men. There's been a huge attack on masculinity, of course, which I've spoken about countless times on my channel. Um, this is a really big problem. A lot of people, you might look at this and say, oh, whatever, I don't care about the next generation. Well, when you look back and you say, what's wrong with these kids? This is part of it. This is part of the reason why there's something wrong with these kids because they're not connecting, one, with each other as friends because they don't have as many friends as we did, when we were in high school or especially older way before social media. They're not having intimate relationships either. And high school is like the prime years, man, of when you experience that stuff. That's when you're all basically grown-ups and you actually start to like if you're a man, you start to like women. I would assume by the time you're a freshman in high school, and same with women. So what's going on then? Like, well, why is this happening? Well, it's because of social media. That's really the biggest thing, is because these kids are being exposed to social media so early in life, right? That it's making them insecure. It's making them not as confident as they could be. It's ruining their perceptions of life and of each other because they're just kids. What they're seeing on social media, they're correlating it to reality. And social media is not reality. I just made a video talking about how on X, if you're a hermit and you never go outside and you just live on X, you would think that there's all these different racial wars going on outside and that people are killing each other over race and religion and sex and all these things. But it's not the case, right? When you walk outside, people are pretty civil for the most part. So that's my point with how social media is really affecting these kids because they're correlating what they see on the internet with reality. And not only are they doing stuff like that, but it's addicting. The dopamine hits that they get, right, when they get a like, they get a comment, they get a share on their post, they get messages from people, especially women. They get a plethora of attention to the point where it's overwhelming for them, right? That's why all these women are single because they got it's funny, they got all these men chasing after them. They can have most men if they really wanted to, but they decide not to. They always decide to choose the hardest, toughest, best looking, quote unquote, most emotionally unavailable, quote unquote, man, right? And again, that goes to social engineering. That goes back to the powers that be completely and psychologically tuning us to how they want us to be and how they want us to think and how they want us to act. It's very simple. I mean, it started with stuff like feminism, right? It starts with stuff like that. You empower the woman to a point where she thinks that she's above man, and to the point to where she actually doesn't like man, and to where she wants to be man, and she thinks she's better, right, and all that stuff. We've heard the rhetorics. I don't need to repeat them from the misandrist, feminists, whatever. Um, how do we fix this, right? Well, how do we fix this? Well, I really think we need to encourage young men specifically, um, and support them more in life. Ask them more questions about what's going on. Support them, because there's no support system for young men. Okay, there's a ton of stuff for women out here. All this support for women, but there's nothing especially for young men. That's why young men are the group that commits suicide the most out of any group there is. It's young men in this age range. 18, it's not 25, but I think it goes to 30, are the highest suicide rate amongst of any group. It's men of 18 to 30, and it's because of the loneliness, right? Listen, I'm 28. I totally understand. It's lonely, right? No one asks me how I'm doing. No one cares about me, really, quite frankly. No one wants to hear my sob story, and I get it. I understand it. I accept that this is a harsh world, okay? And I'm not complaining about it. But it doesn't hurt to ask me, right? Or any young man you see out here, hey, how are you? How are things? Do you need help with your goals? Are you upset about anything? And anything you're dwelling on? Little things like that really go a long way. I'm telling you, for a young man. When it comes to women, and I think this just goes for us, not even just a man and woman thing. We need to educate kids on social media. In fact, I don't think kids should even be on social media until they're at least 18. Kids should be off social media until they're 18. Listen, your brain isn't even fully developed till you're 25, right? So 18 is already a little generous. So, and because that's the age where you can go in the army, right? You can get a tattoo, whatever, all these things. Um, we need to have proper education on social media, and we need to make an age limit. We shouldn't have 12-year-olds, on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, especially the females, because there's a ton of creeps out there. And I don't even want to get into that because it's pretty gross and just creepy. But you don't want to be exposing your young daughters on social media out here, because trust me, there's a lot of creeps out here, that are doing inappropriate things behind the screen to these little girls. So my point is, with what I'm saying here is, we need to do something about this. This is only going to get worse. This isn't going to get better. You can ignore what I talk about overall on my channel. You can ignore this. You can ignore all the other things I talk about. But they're coming to fruition. They're coming to life day by day. You feel it. You see it. You have to be a real stunad not to see these things I'm talking about at this point. We fix this by educating teens and kids on social media properly. We reverse what's going on. We make it not cool to be on social media. It's cool to be on social media. Hey, listen, social media is great to connect and spread messages to each other. And I'm not saying we should stop innovating with technology and all these things, like some truthers say, that we should just stop with technology. No, we should keep innovating. But the problem is that we have a small minority of billionaires that control everything, that are the gatekeepers of information, of everything on the internet. And they don't have full control yet, but that day is slowly approaching. I should say quickly approaching, actually, considering where we are in time right now. But this affects my life, right? Because believe me, I'm single. It's hard to get a date as a guy. It's hard to even find women, right? Sometimes, unless you go to a bar or a club, yeah, you'll see women. But, if I go to the gym, I see women, but the gym's not the most appropriate place. So you have to just live your life, right? And you have to engage in stuff you like, activities you like, and hope you meet someone that way, because meeting in person compared to meeting online is way better. And I've obviously used dating apps. Most of my life I was meeting women online. And then, I don't know, man, 2020 came and my life honestly changed a lot ever since, what happened then. And social life just hasn't been the same, especially here in New Jersey, because bars and clubs, for example, used to be open till 4 a.m., but now they close at 2. So, yeah, man, things just, the social scene, overall, just it's not the same as it used to be. The world has changed. Most of us are home. Most of us aren't interacting as much as we should be with each other. And even if we are interacting, are we really connecting? Are we getting on a deeper level? Are we solving real world issues, or are we talking and conversing about bullshit with each other? So let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you have what solutions you guys have. Let me know what you guys think of this. And please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.